All right, guys, let's waste no more time and address our first topic of the evening. And we got something actually, I would say, pretty exciting to show. And for the young children in the audience, this is going to be important that you prepare yourselves. Okay. Okay. So we're leading the show with this. This is something that I think we should talk about, right? Because to me, I want to address sort of the elephant in the room when we look at stuff like this. Because this is a statue that was announced recently, right? And this limited to 99 pieces. So this is not like, oh, I'm just looking at the fucking photo and I can't stop laughing. So like, this is not a worldwide thing where everyone's going to go out and buy this, right? But there are other things out there. Let's give another example, right? This Thanos is just one example. Let's give another one. This was actually something that popped up a long time ago, right? And the question I want to ask you guys when it comes to these Thanos statues or this Tifa statue, with this type of stuff, right? Is this good or bad for the collecting community? Because the way that I look at this, well, I don't want to get my thoughts too early because I don't want to spoil how the panel is going to go on this. But we're going to talk about this. Kiko, let's start with you because I want to hear your thoughts on this. With this is a Thanos statue, they call it the Prime format. I guess that's similar to the premium format. And they even put the apple in there, and just like the premium format photos do. So it's obviously like this is a legitimate statue as far as I'm aware, because the other Thanos statue with him in the Tifa pose that actually existed. There was production photos of that. So people, I mean, look, I don't mean to kink shame, but this is the thing. And Kiko, is this good or bad for the collecting community? Because I feel like we're all probably leaning one way.
The worst thing about this is that it's not a limited edition of 69 in number. That's where we missed.
That was a missed opportunity.
It was a missed opportunity. But here's my thing. There is always going to be a market for something. There's always going to the sky's the limit because we are a deplorable people. We have degraded as a society. Because let's just be honest, I don't think that this would be sitting on grandma's coffee table anytime soon. But as you said, we're not kink shaming. The world's changed, the world's evolved. But I have to ask a question: what is this for? Because I know, and I've seen every meme in the world about how Daddy Thanos was a little bit sexualized because it's obviously Josh Brolin because people obviously like that voice and things. But I've seen everything from Ant-Man going up his ass, all kinds of things. We've heard all those, but I've never understood like why he became like the object of these type of things, because this is not the first iteration, as you mentioned. There's the one doing where he's ass in the air, things like that. So
absolute grail.
It's really bizarre because I don't know, like outside of like gag gifts, no pun intended, why you would want this to display, and like why you'd be like, guys, you got to come see this, because this isn't going to be cheap. This isn't like a 1/7 gentle giant, half bust or something like that, for 100. I guarantee you this is probably going to be well over $1,000. I mean, if it's that scale, it's a quarter. You think about how big Thanos is. I mean, Venom himself, if I do a third Venom, I mean, it's monstrous. It's going to be huge. And do you really want Thanos with a cock gauntlet, essentially sitting on your coffee table? I mean, it's bizarre to me. Now, I know, and like I said, we're not shaming anybody out there, that there's kinks, there's fetishes, there's all kind of whatever gets you off, cool, that's fine. But I don't know if you should market this to the masses. And maybe it's not being marketed to the masses. I don't know. I don't think it's great for collecting because this is technically a young child's intellectual property. I mean, Marvel is made for kids, but all those kids grew up into adults. And maybe, when an adult saw Thanos 30 years ago when he was first introduced, they're like, gee, I wonder what it'd be like to roll around with this guy. I don't know. I have no idea like where this came from, because I've seen so many bizarre things, not just this, but I think I remember showing you there's one of Wanda, which is very interesting. There's one of Rey on the throne. I think you've seen that one, where she's spread eagle on the throne. I saw one literally today of Ash Ketchum from Pokemon sitting similarly to Rey, but with the Pokemon in his lap. And I'm like, okay, this is just really uncomfortable. And that's my thing.
That link, please.
Yeah, I got you, bro.
That's
I'll
a grail
DM you.
right there.
I'll DM you privately. But you are definitely limiting your market with this. But maybe that's the thing, is that you are really just trying to attract certain collectors because there's going to be a market for everything. I never thought. Last thing I'll say, it was really bizarre to me. As you know, we're getting ready to celebrate our 4-year anniversary, not getting too much into things. But I remember one time we were like, hey, do you guys want to stop at one of those like sex store things like on the highway? You know what I'm talking about? It's like
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
like Eve's Closet of Curiosities or something like that. I'm like, well,
Right.
you just want to stop there one day. You know, I'm a married man or whatever, happily with my wife, so we're having a good time, whatever, just joking, whatever. And I was blown away when you walk into one of these stores on what is available. Okay. You
Okay.
remember, did you ever watch The
Was this
Office?
statue in there?
No, it was not. It was
Okay.
not.
Yeah. Did they have the original Thanos statue?
I
With
would
the
love to see like walking into a sex store and there's like a
oh.
DTOF full of these type of things over
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Could you imagine?
I feel like that's so appropriate. You
Yeah,
know,
it is. It would
well,
fit.
at this case, it might be Magic.
This would easily be in there. This had to have been there, Kiko.
Something
So,
very
Kiko,
similar. This is actually
were you
tame compared
Michael
to what
Scott? Or you
that's what I was
couldn't
saying. Do you
handle
remember that
the
episode of The Office
Yeah,
where
The
they go to the
Office,
sex
right.
store and everything's blurred out and he's just giggling? It's like he's not stopped giggling for the past 15 minutes. That's how I was kind of, because like you can't take anything serious. But I've said enough, and as you can tell, this made me uncomfortable even talking this long. That's why I rambled. I don't know what you do with this. I don't know who it's marketed to. I don't think it's great for collectors because I don't think this is a licensed piece. I have a hard time thinking Disney signed off on this by any means.
No.
But you're always going to have somebody making it, regardless. There's
Right.
always going to be something out there. What is it? Is it Rule 84 or Rule something like to Rule 14? It's like where if there is something sexual, if you think there's something sexualized, there is. Have you ever heard that? What's it called?
No, but it sounds right.
It's like Rule 84 or something like that. If you think it up, it's already existed essentially, and that's what this is.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, Kiko, because when you look at this, I'm just wondering. Again, this says 45 inches in height. That can't be accurate because he's kneeling down, right?
Do you realize how big Thanos is in like real life?
But bro, 45 inches in height. That's
4
like
feet.
that's like a half scale figure, bro. That's like
14.
come on now. Like he's kneeling down.
So if this
Like-
is a quarter scale, I think Thanos clocks in at what, like 9 feet, I suppose.
Could you imagine a 45-inch fucking height statue of this in your house?
Yes, I can. I'm imagining it right now.
Dude, because Pennywise half scale is like fucking 45 or 50 or something. Like that Thanos is as tall as him. Like this would be in your house. Basically half scale. Like I don't know, bro. I don't know. This
Thanos officially is 8'3" according to Google.
So, but well, I guess it makes sense then because half scale would be like 4 foot, right? And then he's bent down, so it's quarter scale. So, I don't know. I don't know what the math is. I don't fucking know. But Marco, tell me, bro, with this statue, is this good for the collecting community? Because I'll just give my brief thoughts on this. I saw a comment, and I do understand that side of it, where people say, "Look, if it's not hurting anyone, so be it," right? But I hate to tell other people how to live their lives, so to speak, but is this good for collecting? You know what I mean? When we look at this, we're like, because the reason I kind of say that is because, like I just mentioned in my video, some of the perceptions that people have about collectors that are outside of collecting, right? And they think about this type of stuff and they say, oh, they must be like, 40-year-old virgins or perverts or whatever, right? And then they see this, like, say they just fucking stumbled on this, right? And you're just like, these people are like what I thought they were. And that's why I don't like it, because I feel like it kind of gives the rest of the community a bad name because it's so ridiculous. But Marco, I'll let you go. Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh. What do you think?
Will, yeah, no, I get your point there, where it kind of feeds into that perception that, we're a little bit off in the collector community. I kind of feel that way about the over sexualized women. So like the Tifa one that you
Right.
brought up, I know that Ray that we've seen before, like those make me cringe a little bit. That being said, it's not like those properties aren't selling sex a little bit. I don't want to get down that line. We had that conversation with Carlos a while back, so we don't have
Right.
to, relitigate that. But these ones, I'm never a huge fan of. But to each their own. If we're gonna do stuff like this, let's just make it equal opportunity. Let's do the Thanos statue. To me, it's hilarious. Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily feel that it's bad for the community because I think, sometimes we take collecting way too seriously, right?
Mm.
We're concerned about, this little freckle over here was not placed correctly. There's all these details that we just obsess over. When you see something like this, it kind of reminds you, okay, this is just, this is just a silly hobby that we're all into. I know it's not directly, a hot toys or the statues that everyone collects, but to me, it just makes me laugh. Like it's just hilarious. I'm really glad that something like this exists. I don't know, like Kiko said, why? Like, who is this for? I don't know anybody that would personally go out and buy this, but if this was gifted to me, I still don't even know if I'd put it in my collection. But the fact that it's out there is absolutely hilarious. Like it's just so absurd. I don't know that anyone can necessarily be mad at it. If you really take Thanos that seriously as a character and you're offended by this, I don't know what to tell you, right? It's just a funny piece of art, honestly. And art can make you feel a lot of things. It can make you feel like proud or emotional in a lot of different ways, but this just is a piece that makes you laugh. So I'm really I don't know what's above Grail. Whatever above Grail is, that's a category that I would put this because yeah, absolutely incredible. I will have to say
Super
the
Grail.
two finger. There you go, Super Grail. The two finger portion like that just doesn't not make me laugh. Like incredibly well done. So yeah, I don't see the harm in these, minus aside that it's unlicensed, right? So maybe the
It's
artist would
unlicensed.
think,
That's your
right,
biggest problem.
right. I guess so because like maybe the artist is like, this is not how my character was intended to be portrayed. That's
Right.
really the only downside I see. But I'm really not concerned about outsiders' viewpoints of
Hmm.
what we collect because to each their own at the end of the day.
Hmm. Interesting. All right. Well, guys, I love this conversation. Let us know in the comments below what you think about this Thanos statue. We're going to move on because I don't want to ruin everyone's day with that shot for the
No, just leave it
entire
up the whole
election.
stream, honestly.
I know, right? I've made it on my wallpaper already, so might as
There
well
you
just
go.
keep it up for the whole stream. Just share my wallpaper.